Ever felt like you're just, drowning in information, trying to stay well-informed, but mostly just feeling overwhelmed?
Hmm.
Or maybe you've found yourself quietly questioning how we raise kids, how we learn, what really makes someone well-educated.
Absolutely. Those are big questions.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into some really radical, but maybe profound ideas from a classic text on education. It will definitely challenge some assumptions.
Our mission today is to really unpack Jean-Jacques Rousseau's famous work, Emile. We're going to try and pull out the most surprising nuggets of insight.
Okay.
Exploring his often very counterintuitive takes on basically everything from like swaddling a baby to choosing a spouse.
Wow, the whole life cycle.
Pretty much. We'll dig into what he actually believes it means to become a man or a citizen in his terms.
So what's the real takeaway for our listener here? What can you expect to gain from getting into Rousseau's Emile with us?
Well, I think you'll get a fresh and honestly, sometimes startling perspective on what education even means. It goes way beyond the classroom. Rousseau gives us this incredibly comprehensive treatise covering human development from infancy right through adulthood. Morals, society, politics, it's all in there. And he's constantly challenging the norms, proposing methods that seem completely backward sometimes, but always aimed at human happiness and virtue.
So it makes you think.
Definitely. It'll provoke critical thinking about your own experiences, maybe even modern parenting.
And Rousseau, he doesn't exactly tiptoe around his ideas, does he? Right from the start.
No, he doesn't pull any punches.
He basically says his principles aren't just, optional extras. They're not matters of indifference.
He says the happiness or the misery of mankind depends on them. Pretty high stakes.
Yeah. And he wants us, the reader, to really weigh his reasons and judge them. It feels like he's throwing down a challenge.
He absolutely is. And he's very firm about his approach. It's kind of all or nothing.
Right? No half measures.
Exactly. He dismisses just like tweaking the wrong methods at present in use. He thinks trying to adopt his ideas partially just corrupts the good in them.
So you can't cherry pick.
He says he'd rather follow exactly the established method than adopt a better method by halves. So either commit fully to his philosophy or, stick with the old ways.
That's a pretty bold stance, isn't it?
It really is.
And it's fascinating how he then breaks down education into these three factors, making it sound almost impossible. You've got nature.
Which he says is wholly beyond our control.
Things.
It's only partly in our power.
And finally, education from men, which he says is the only one we control, but even then, our power is largely illusory.
Yeah, because think about it. As he asks, who can hope to direct every word and deed of all with whom the child has to do?
Good point. Parents, tutors, friends, society.
Exactly. They all have an influence. So he concludes education as an art is almost impossible because so much is out of our hands. We might get close to the goal, but luck or fortune plays a big role.
Okay, so if it's such a huge challenge, what is the goal for Rousseau? Is he trying to train Emile for a specific job, like a soldier or a priest?
That's a great question, and it's where he really departs from the norm. For Rousseau, the true calling isn't a profession.
Yeah.
No. He famously says, life is the trade I would teach him.
Life itself.
Yes. His student, Emile, isn't meant to be a magistrate or a soldier specifically. He's meant to be, well, a man. Meaning a fully capable, resilient, virtuous human being. Someone who will, as he puts it, always be in his right place, no matter what life throws at him.
So being a complete human is the real education. And he also says true education consists less in precept than in practice. What's that about?
Oh, that's absolutely central to everything. It means learning by doing, by experiencing the world firsthand.
Not just reading about it.
Exactly. Learning starts, he says, the moment we start living. Our very first teacher, our nurse.
Interesting.
He even points out the ancients used the word education to mean nurture. It's about hands-on experience from day one, not just classroom lectures.
That focus on practical, lived experience.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about your own background, doesn't it? If life is the trade, how well did your education prepare you for that versus just a specific job? And how much has that hands-on stuff really mattered in your own learning? Something to mull over.
Definitely. And this idea, this practice over precept, feeds directly into his sometimes quite shocking advice on physical upbringing.
Shocking is right. He really goes after some common practices, especially in early childhood. His attack on swaddling, for instance, it's incredibly strong.
He is passionate about it. He argues it checks the circulation, hinders growth, weakens the child.
He paints a pretty grim picture.
He does. He describes countries where it's common as swarming with physical deformities. Humpbacked, the lame, the bow-legged, the rickety.
Wow.
And he contrasts that with places where kids are left free, where they grow up tall, strong, and well-made. For him, restricting movement is just fundamentally unnatural.
So instead of constraint, he wants total freedom of movement.
Pretty much. Let them crawl, run, fall down. He even says the delights of liberty will make up for many bruises.
So Emile will get hurt more often.
Yes, but Rousseau says he will always be merry. It's this radical trust in nature's way.
And that extends to hardship too, right? He sounds almost Spartan.
He's incredibly intense about building resilience. I mean, advising to dip them in the waters of Styx is quite something.
Yeah.
His point is you accustom children early to the hardships they will have to face. Extremes of temperature, hunger, thirst, tiredness.
Why so young?
He thinks it's best to face dangers when they can do the least harm, when kids are naturally resilient. It's like an inoculation against future suffering.
Definitely not your standard parenting advice today.
Yeah.
And his ideas on discipline are also pretty counterintuitive, like with crying.
Right. If the child cries for a real need, satisfy it immediately. But if it's just tears to get their own way,
Then what?
then he should never have his way, because
Okay.
yielding teaches the child they can control you with tears, making the child your master. It connects to his first maxim. Children are not strong enough for all the claims of nature, so let them use the strength they do have fully. They won't abuse it. He trusts their natural impulses if we don't mess them up.
And he applies this natural approach to weaning in speech, too.
Absolutely. He suggests giving kids dried fruit or crusts to chew on, helps with teething, helps with weaning naturally.
Makes sense.
For speech. Few words, clear words, repeated often, always linked to things they can see.
Practical.
He contrasts country kids, who have to speak clearly to be heard, with town kids who just mutter because they're governesses. Guess what they want?
Oh, okay.
He even doubts the wisdom of actively teaching kids to walk, suggesting it often makes them walk badly. Let nature take its course.
It really forces you to reconsider our modern instincts to protect and, optimize everything from day one.
Mm-hmm.
How do these early physical ideas resonate today? And what does his focus on hardship tell us about building resilience now?
Good questions to ponder.
Okay, this next bit of Rousseau's philosophy, this really stopped me in my tracks. It goes against almost everything we assume about early learning.
Ah, yes. The negative education phase.
He calls it do not save time, but lose it. He thinks the years from birth to 12 are the most dangerous.
Right, because that's when errors and vices spring up, but the child isn't ready to understand how to fix them yet.
So his solution is,
Leave the mind alone. Let it lie undisturbed till its faculties have developed. Basically, protect the child from premature learning.
that's wild. Our whole culture is about early achievement.
Exactly. Rousseau thinks cramming knowledge in too early actually causes problems. He says, reverse the usual practice.
Meaning,
No scolding, correcting, bribing, teaching, or reasoning with young children. Instead, exercise his body, his limbs, his senses, his strength, but keep his mind idle as long as you can.
keep the mind idle.
The key insight is that real development needs patience. Let nature build a solid foundation first. Don't rush it.
And this leads straight to his big emphasis on things. Things.
Yeah.
Right? Learning from experience.
Precisely. Children should learn by experience alone, not through verbal lessons. He makes that really provocative claim.
About reading.
Yeah, essentially that the child who reads ceases to think. He only reads. He thinks they're just acquiring words, not real knowledge tied to experience.
He gives that example of the boy reciting the story of Alexander.
Right. The boy could tell the story beautifully, but his only understanding of Alexander's courage was swallowing nasty medicine without fussing, because he just had to do that himself.
It shows how words without experience can be empty.
Absolutely. And he applies this to morality, too. Before the age of reason, a child's actions are wholly unmoral.
So no punishment.
No punishment or reproof for moral wrongs. If a child breaks something, don't scold. Just act as if the thing had come to pieces of itself. Let natural consequences be the teacher.
Interesting. No lectures.
No lectures that can't really grasp yet.
And he has that sacred formula for learning later on. What is the use of that?
Yes. That becomes the ultimate test for everything Emile learns or does.
Like the astronomy lesson.
Exactly. He doesn't lecture about stars. He takes Emile out before sunrise, lets him figure out direction from the sun, and then Emile himself exclaims, "Astronomy is some use after all."
Ah, Because it helped him find his way.
Right, sparking genuine curiosity driven by real-world utility. Rousseau stresses, teach by doing whenever you can, and only fall back upon words when doing is out of the question.
And this applies even to subjects like geometry.
Yep, no abstract definitions first, learn by drawing, by observing relationships, use a string as a compass, see that all the radii are equal, discover it yourself.
So his ideal student, this nature's pupil,
Is self-reliant, acts more than talks, connects thinking and doing. It's about integrating everything, strength of body and strength of mind, the reason of the philosopher and the vigor of the athlete.
he contrasts this with peasants and savages.
Yeah, he sees peasants as creatures of habit and savages as having keen senses but maybe less developed reason. Both lack the sort of holistic balance he aims for in Emile.
And he had a warning about too much equipment, too.
He did. Too much apparatus designed to guide us, he worried, makes our own senses coarser and more unskillful. We stop using the natural tools we have. Feels very relevant today with all our tech.
Absolutely. And finally, choosing a trade.
He favors manual labor. It's closest to nature, less dependent on luck or fortune. Every useful trade is honest, he says.
But choose carefully.
Yes, avoid trades that develop detestable qualities. And he tells that story about the footman who tried painting.
Oh, right. The one who persevered but was still mediocre.
Exactly, highlighting the difference between just liking something and having a real aptitude for it.
Does Rousseau's critique of traditional schooling resonate with your own learning? And how could you maybe bring more things, not words, or what is the use of that idea into your own life or teaching?
Lots to think about there.
So as Emile grows older, Rousseau signals a major shift, right? When the child becomes more self-aware.
Yes, as they gain strength, become more conscious of themselves as really one person, capable of joy and sorrow. That's when they start becoming a moral being.
And this leads into adolescence, which he calls the critical moment.
A hugely pivotal time. The passions are drawing near, he says. The whole approach has to change.
How so?
The tutor has to completely drop the old tone. Treat the young man as an equal, a man and your friend.
No more commands?
No. Restraint now has to come from the young man's own knowledge and understanding, not the tutor's authority. Rousseau says, reverse all that you did to guide the child.
Reverse everything.
Including talking openly about those dangerous mysteries, sex, relationships, societal complexities. Prepare him to face them, to fight against them. It's a big shift from protecting innocence to arming with knowledge.
That is a huge shift from the lost time idea earlier. And he focuses on cultivating certain emotions, like pity.
Yes, pity over envy. Pity, he says, is actually a sweet feeling the pleasure of not suffering like someone else. Envy is just bitter.
How do you teach pity?
First, let the youth understand suffering through his own minor bumps and bruises, then help him see himself in others who are suffering. But Rousseau warns against exposing him too early to the pomp of courts, the pride of palaces.
Why not?
Because before he can judge their true worth, it will just corrupt him, make him envious or ambitious, rather than educate him towards compassion.
Interesting. He wants him to see the truth of suffering first.
Exactly. That all people are born vulnerable, destined to suffer in some way. The rich suffer from their own choices, the poor from external factors. The lesson is to love all men, even those who don't appreciate you, without looking down on anyone.
And managing the passions that emerge in adolescence.
He has that fascinating idea. Only through passion can we gain the mastery over passions.
Use fire to fight fire.
Sort of. Encourage tender feeling, paint love as the supreme joy, to inspire a natural disgust for debauchery, channel the energy rather than just suppress it.
So the young man starts understanding mankind generally, but then needs to learn about individuals.
Yes, now he needs to understand individual men and how men live in the world. And crucially, Rousseau says the tutor should share his own weaknesses and struggles.
The tutor should be vulnerable.
Yes. So the student learns self-mastery by seeing his mentor grapple with things too. It's learning by example, flaws and all.
That's powerful. He also had some sharp words for how history is usually taught, didn't he?
He did. He felt history often just shows actions rather than men, focusing on public figures in their full dress, not their private lives or true character.
Too much spin?
Too much focus on the facade, often biased by the historian's own agenda. He preferred studying the lives of individuals, like Plutarch's Lives, where the writer tries to show the whole person, warts and all.
And travel. How did that fit in?
He was a big advocate for travel, especially traveling on foot. That's how you really see a country and its people.
And he had opinions on different nationalities as travelers.
Yes. A bit generalized, perhaps, but he contrasted the French, who he thought traveled mainly for their own purposes and didn't learn much, with the English, who traveled to spend money but were too proud to just blend in, and therefore, he claimed, learn more by observing.
Interesting comparison. It makes you wonder, how do his ideas about adolescence in society hold up today? And what about that role of vulnerability in mentoring?
Still very relevant discussions.
Now, as Emile reaches adulthood, Rousseau zooms out to broader societal ideas. And this is where we get into some of his most, let's say, challenging views, especially on gender.
Right. And just to reiterate for everyone listening, we're presenting these ideas impartially, as they appear in Emile, to help understand his whole system of thought.
Absolutely. So first, he touches on the social contract. He says something like, every man in obeying the sovereign only obeys himself. How does that work? Obeying makes you freer.
It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But for Rousseau, real freedom isn't just doing whatever you want. It's living under laws that you, as part of the community, have collectively agreed to.
Ah, self-governance.
Exactly. True liberty is found within that shared framework, not outside it. It's a powerful, often debated idea. He also says there's no single best form of government. It has to suit the size and nature of the state.
And he saw population growth as a good sign.
Yes, as a key indicator of good government. A thriving population suggests the system is working, basically.
He also gets into religion and conscience. He talks about his own journey from doubt to faith.
He does. He believes we have an innate principle of justice and virtue inside us, our conscience. And importantly, that feeling precedes knowledge.
Feeling comes first.
Yes. He's skeptical of religious doctrines passed down through many human hands. How many men between God and me, he asks. He feels a righteous heart is the true temple.
So personal conscience over organized religion.
To a large extent, yes, though he does advise sticking to the religion of your fathers, sincerely, finding its core morality pure and satisfying to the reason.
Okay. Now, we need to address his views on gender, which, as you said, are very much of his time.
And quite distinct from modern perspectives. Our aim is just to report what he wrote.
Got it. So he starts with mothers nursing their own children.
Yes, he argues passionately for it. He sees it not just as a health issue, but as a profound moral act. He believes it revives natural feeling, strengthens the family, and ultimately provides better citizens for the state. It connects the very personal to the political.
And from there, he defines women's role quite specifically based on what he sees as inequality.
He does. He asserts a natural inequality, saying the mutual duties of the two sexes are not and cannot be equally binding.
He even says inequality in law is based on reason, not just man-made.
Correct. He controversially claims a faithless wife is worse than a faithless husband because she could potentially disrupt lineage, thereby destroying the family and breaking the bonds of nature.
That's a stark view. And women's purpose.
He states quite plainly that every woman wants to be pleasing in men's eyes, which he deems right, and that women should be strong not like men, but for them so that their sons may be strong. It's very much defining women in relation to men and procreation.
And how did he think girls should be educated then?
He suggested women are naturally equipped with modesty to control what he saw as their boundless passions. He observed girls disliking reading but enjoying sewing, linking it to adornment.
So education focused on restraint.
Yes, he advises girls should be accustomed to restraint early on because of what he calls the misfortune of their sex, the need for propriety. Their life, he suggests, is a perpetual struggle against self.
Did he see any specific strengths in women?
He did talk about a woman's science qualities like self-possession, penetration, delicate observation. He also suggested their real communication is often nonverbal through eyes, expressions, mannerisms. He even saw coquetry, if kept modest, as a source of right conduct.
These are definitely specific and dated perspectives.
Very much so. And finally, on marriage, he advises against purely conventional matches.
He wants compatibility.
Yes, consult nature. Marry someone you're adapted to in terms of taste, temper, feeling. He warns a thinking man against marrying a woman who doesn't think, as it spoils the chief delight of social life, shared understanding.
It certainly gives you a lot to think about, reflecting on how these views fit historically and where they clash with today's world.
Definitely. Which elements still spark debate, or maybe even offer some uncomfortable insights into human nature?
What a journey that was through the really radical world of Rousseau's Emile.
It certainly covers a lot of ground.
We went from the very physical start of life, challenging things like swaddling, early lessons, all the way to the moral and social development of a young adult, guided by experience, by nature.
Indeed. We saw his push for this deeply practical, very individualized education. The goal isn't just a job, it's becoming a fully formed human being, a man in his broad sense. His whole emphasis on things, not words, on self-reliance, on always asking about the use of knowledge, it really does shift your perspective on what being well-informed or well-educated actually means.
And touching on his wider views, government, religion, and those very specific observations on gender roles, it just underlines how his philosophy connects to everything.
He really does.
It feels like a constant call to observe nature, question the norms, and keep asking that fundamental question, what is the use of that?
Which leads to a pretty important question for you, the listener, doesn't it? If our purpose really is to live according to our truest, most natural selves, how much are our current systems, our education, our societal expectations actually working against that? And thinking about Rousseau's ideas, what small or maybe radical changes could you make in your own approach? Whether it's learning for yourself or raising children, how could you align more closely with fostering that strong, wise, and good human being he envisioned?
Definitely something to ponder as you continue your own deep dives into the world around you.